It was a big discussion online, and this was before I was published. And I was just one more loudmouth on the internet instead of a high-profile loudmouth. And but we were, and the discussion was going back and forth, and it was a discussion about execution versus idea versus concept. And the one side of the argument thought that if you had a good enough idea, that it didn't matter how badly you wrote it, it would be successful, and they held up Jurassic Park as their example. And then my side of the argument was, it doesn't matter how old or worn out the idea, if you can put your own spin on it, you can make something that an audience is going to enjoy. How many versions of Romeo and Juliet have we seen?
Absolutely.
And so that argument went back and forth, and finally at some point, it was one of those arguments that you hit caps lock, you hit reply, and then caps lock, and then you start typing, kind of one of those discussions. But finally, at some point, this guy says, "All right, let's see you put your money where your mouth is. Let me give you a terrible idea and see you write it into something good." And being as I was younger and I knew a lot more at the time, I said, "No, how about you give me two terrible ideas and I'll use them both," because that's kind of the attitude I had. And so the ideas he gave me were Lost Roman Legion and Pokemon. And so I said, fine, I'll start doing that. So I started doing research to put this series together. And I was researching Lost Roman Legions, and I was researching Pokemon. I realized I had something good. And because at the time we didn't know how the internet was going to interact with copyright law, I was like, okay, I don't want to post it here, but I think I've got something good here. And so I'm gonna keep it to myself. And the guy says, oh, so in other words, I'm right. I'm like, okay, man, whatever, you're right. And he got to be right, and I got a 6-book contract.